hard to find races. Today we're here with Cody. Cody Arn is running for House of Delegates in Texas, what you call it, District 51. Cody, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It is the House of Representatives here in Texas.
Sorry about that. House of Representatives. We learned so much more. I'm in Chicago. A lot of our audience is spread all over the place, but it's great to learn about these things. The House of Representatives in Texas. Texas is kind of a looked to state. In the upcoming 22 elections. Can you tell us a little bit about why you felt this was the seat to run for, and a little bit about your background in your district?
Yeah. So, my name's Cody Arn. I grew up here in Central Texas. I'm a lifelong Texan. I only got involved in politics a few years ago. Growing up, my family was super religious, super conservative. We weren't really involved in politics. But then in 2016, seeing Trump win, that was pretty devastating, especially for someone like me. I am a member of the LGBT community. And that was really hard to kind of grapple with. And so I kind of pledged to myself that, okay, we have 4 years between now and the next election. We have to do everything we can to make sure that Trump can't win again. And this was before he'd even taken office. And so in 2018, I started getting involved more and more in politics as an organizer. I worked as a volunteer on Beto O'Rourke's Senate campaign in 2018. And that was kind of my introduction to doing actual organization work. And then over the next couple of years, I continued working on more campaigns and working on different issues as well. So both for candidates as well as different issues we had, particularly for housing affordability and LGBT rights protections. My family was impoverished in the fallout of the 2008 recession, fell on some hard times. My dad lost his job, struggled to keep a job for very long. And so we were only surviving because of welfare programs and housing assistance. There was actually about a 10-year period where we were at risk of losing our house that entire time. That caused a lot of difficulties, and it also brought an awareness to me about how much good policy really can save lives. And so for me, politics is, I think that a lot of people turn politics into gamemanship. It's like another sport. But for me, this is really about, it's a life or death matter. The policies that we implement will affect the lives of so many Americans in need. Here in Texas, we just had our 87th legislature. It was one of the hardest legislative sessions that we've ever had. It was extremely conservative. The majority party was extremely aggressive in passing their agenda. There were dozens of anti-LGBT bills that were introduced, some of which passed. There were anti-homeless bills that got through. There were bills that strip back voting rights and several other issues as well. And in particular, the issues regarding the LGBT community were what really kind of made me go, wow, this is a huge problem right now. We here in Texas, our House of Representatives has an LGBT caucus. It is 5 members, one of whom is retiring. She's leaving the House. All of the House members that we do have are women, and they're all, they're not old necessarily for politics, but they can't quite speak to the experience of growing up nowadays as a queer Texan. And so that was the thing that I said, you know what, my community is under attack right now. My community is feeling the grips of having this bad policy play out. So maybe this is the time to run. My current representative is giving up his seat, and so it was a good opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you. And thank you for stepping up. In America, we're seeing we have to fight for so much more of where we want to be and so much more of what we thought was settled. And it's we've been fighting over and over that so much civil rights is tied to people's material well-being in any given area. Now, Texas being the largest state in the nation, as you said, only 87th congressional. We forget how new also to the union sometimes. In terms, we have a lot of East Coast state representatives sometimes, but I see your platform is very robust on housing, on education, on the electrical grid. Is there any one issue right now, do you think that, besides the voting legislation and obviously this attack on people of the LGBTQ community, by extension, furthering attacks on other communities, what is, do you think is a message that Democrats can rally around in Texas that can offset such a we heard how hyper-partisan Texas legislators were, where people were locked out, and an agenda was railroaded through. How do you rally the people, to counter that, intransigence that's Texans are facing right now?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question. One of the things that actually, when I launched this campaign, I have a family friend who reached out to me. He's a lifelong Republican, lifelong conservative voter, very, very conservative. And he looked through my website and he goes, Cody, a lot of these policies aren't very progressive. And what he meant was he agreed with a lot of the policies. He felt like there was middle ground that we could meet. On issues of like affordable housing. Here in Texas, our housing costs are just out of control. Here in Austin, specifically where I live, in the last year, that cost of the average monthly rent has gone up by 25%. The cost of housing just in the last year went up by 37%. Texas has seen a huge population growth over the last 10 years, but our cost of housing is actually moving at 4 times the rate of our population growth. So it's wildly out of control. And these are issues that affect all Texans. It affects progressives, liberals, leftists, conservatives, Republicans, everyone. And everyone wants their property rates to go down. They want to be able to just afford where they're living. And so when we start to initiate the conversation, not around necessarily a culture issue, but of hey, you have this problem. I have this problem. Here's a solution. Here's how we can fix it. Here's how we can bring housing costs down. Here's how we can actually lower the property taxes in a sustainable way that allows Texas to keep moving forward for its citizens and not just continuing to strip back social programs. And when you start the conversation that way, I've had a lot of great positive feedback. People are very receptive because we all want solutions to those bread and butter issues.
Wow. We're definitely rooting for you here at the Collective Social Network, to push for the solutions. We feel any progressive that gets elected into any office is helping America, advance along to where we need to be. How can people that are watching get involved? Where can they learn more? And, where can they donate?
Absolutely. So my website is codyarnfortexas.com. That's CODYARN, and then Texas is spelled out. If you go there, I've got links on all of my policies. It's a very long list. Down at the bottom, you can also find my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram. There's my donation link on Act Blue. You can find all of that there. We would love to get some more donations right now. This is a very short race. The primary is just a month away. It's actually 30 days from tomorrow on March 1st. And early voting starts February 14th on Valentine's Day. And that's in just 2 weeks. So yeah, we're in crunch time trying to close this out strong. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. It actually had you muted there, I think.
Sorry about that. I'm just wishing you the best of luck here at the Collective Social Network. We'll be looking to how Texas goes next month. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you guys. You guys have a great night.
You as well.